Hello, everyone. Can we all hear me? Can we all hear me? Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Outside the Box Conference 2025, Limitless Moving from Now to the Next. I want to know if we can hear me. Can you hear me? All right, all right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nikebi Tamara Priya Blessing, and I'm so excited to be taking you through this session. Welcome, 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 welcome. The day is finally here. Let me know in the chat how excited you are for what is set to happen in the next couple of hours. Let me know in the chat how excited we are. The day is finally here. Outside the Box Conference 2025. We have people joining us from across the country, different states in Nigeria. Also, let me know in the chat where you're joining us from. Okay, I'm super, super excited. I do not know about you, but I'm so ecstatic. I am anticipating so much. And trust me when I say so much is in store for us this afternoon. Yes, yes, we're pumped, we're excited. I want to see the emojis flying around. Let me know how excited you are for what you are set to receive. Prior to this time, the OTB team stormed different cities in Nigeria to have what we call outside the box conclave meetings. I think Abraka conclave happened in June. Warri conclave held in July, and Lagos conclave held in June as well. And trust me when I tell you, from these gatherings, mind-boggling questions were answered, clarity and insight was gotten, and the attendees were driven to action to provide value and to be problem solvers, to prefer solutions in their respective spaces. Can we all hear me? Are we here? In their respective spaces through strategic thinking and innovative approach. And trust me when I say this edition certainly is not going to be anything short of insightful, impactful, and value packed. And I ask again, are we ready? Let's engage, let's engage. We have few persons online. Let's engage, let's engage. This edition certainly is not going to be anything short of insightful, impactful, and value packed. There is so much in store for us, and I'm excited for us to see what the next few hours has for us. But before I go into the next item on my agenda, I want to especially thank the OTB team. None of this would have been possible without you. So much has gone into putting this together. Like I said earlier, in the past months, we've been having conclave meetings across the different states in the country. So much has been done, so much prayers, so much resource, so much manpower has gone into making this possible. And now we're having this webinar. Thank you very much, Team OTB. None of this will be possible without you. Thank you to the visionary who happens to be the main speaker for this event. Oh, we have people joining us from Bayelsa State. We have people joining us from Delta State, Abraka. And as I was saying, we have somebody joining in from Benin City. That is awesome. Thank you so much, Team OTB, for making this possible. None of this will be possible without you. I especially celebrate you and Thank you so much. Shortly I'll be out of your faces. Okay, I can see we're pumped. I can see we are so pumped and excited. Shortly I'll be out of your faces. Today is the long awaited day for the conference, and our speaker will be coming up shortly, and I believe through his shared experiences, insightful discussions, and proven strategies, we will not just be informed, but we will be transformed by a paradigm shift happening in our minds. I always say this: the state of a man's life determines the state of a man's mind determines the quality of his life. You know, one of the objectives of the OTB initiative is to help young people break free from the shackles of small-mindedness. It's to help them come into the many possibilities available to them when they begin to dare the seemingly, I use the adverb, seemingly impossible. Are we here? All right, we have somebody joining in from Port Harcourt City. Today is set to be explosive. Today is set to be transforming. Today it is set to give clarity to those of us who will stay till the end of the meeting. Like I said earlier, the speaker will be coming up shortly to offer clarity and give us deep insight that will help us overcome self-imposed limitations and expose us to the limitless possibilities we can come into when we unlock bold thinking and tap into our full potentials and dare the seemingly possible. I ask again, are we ready? Are we pumped? All right. I believe we have our notes and our pens with us. Solomon said, we did here. Yes, I can see that. I can see how ready we are. Our speaker will be coming up shortly. And I want us to anticipate so much. I want us to make the decision to not leave as we came when we clicked on the link. You know, great men are not just products of great meetings, but they are also products of the decisions made in great meetings. Today promises to be so much. Today promises to be transforming. Today promises to be explosive. Our speaker will be coming up shortly. Our speaker, who happens to be the mastermind behind the OTB movement and initiative. He is an embodiment of creativity. He's an embodiment of excellence. He's an embodiment of knowledge. Are we here now? He's an embodiment of value. So I just want us to be ready to drink from his well of experience, his well of expertise, and his well of knowledge. And our speaker, sorry. Okay. Our speaker will be coming up in a couple of minutes. Like I said earlier, he needs no introduction, but I have to introduce him because I have to introduce him. Yes, he is a brand strategist. He is a philomath. He is an author. I think one of his recent release, I think, Talks Not Cheap, basically talks about mastering the art of public speaking. I think it's available on Seller. It's a good read and it's a good purchase. He is the creative teacher himself. I'm talking about no other person than the Jeffrey Ipete, and he's coming to water us. He's coming to set us on fire.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. At the time of this meeting this afternoon, good afternoon. I can see us. Can we leave comments in the comment section? Yeah. I'm excited to be here as much as you are excited to. So I want to see happy people. Wait, let's come back on stage.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that
So,
section. I believe you can all hear me loud and clear. I believe I'm clear enough. I'm happy that we are finally here. Joy, good afternoon. Good to see you on this conversation. It's going to be an amazing time. The few minutes we are spending here together is going to be good afternoon. Definitely good afternoon. How are you doing? How's everybody doing? I'm very glad that we are showing up for this. If you can leave a comment, if you're online, leave a comment. Yeah, I want to greet you back. I do- It's great to be having this meeting. We were here last year and it was something. And over time, we've been opportuned to host this meeting across different regions, across different cities. Right from Project 1000. Happy New Year. Good to see you on this call. Good to see you. Yeah, time is fast spent. We're going to go into the meat of this conversation. Key in your next 1 2 hours into this. I want you to really, really pay attention, and it's going to be worth it. I'm here with my notes. So, with my notes, I'm doing like this. My notes. I want you, because I want you to also get your notes and your pen and listen to what we are not saying. Thank you very much, Blessing. I'm very grateful. I was, you were not seeing me. My hands were on my head. I was jumping like the things you were saying. They were just hitting me, and I hope that it was hitting those of us on this conversation too. Right. Yeah. So the bone of this conversation, which we're going to get into, the topic for this discussion is limitless. We started OTB in 2022, actually started in 2021. Then we had it as unlocking creativity. But that's thought around the particular conception around what creativity is. When you hear creativity, you think about art and all of that. It was a bit restrictive, so we moved, or we changed the topic to a more inclusive topic, so to say, and it was outside the box. Every person, every system, every group needs thinking to ride. They need thinking to move. And when we all think at the same level, we stay at the same level. I'm not against being at a place, but life demands that there is forward movement. Life demands that there's constant motion and there is progress. We're going to get into that. So, how do you move from what is known to what is not known? What is known is already what is within reach. It's already what you can see. It's already tangible. The the most of what can be available is not available yet. The most of what can be available is not available yet. So we have to reach out to get it. In science, scientists studied to a point, made this research and discoveries to a point, and they think, if you want to measure our universe, it's quite enormous, right? From your city that you are in now to your country to your continent, very big. The first time I traveled from Delta to Jos, I was like, is this Nigeria? So that was like the first time I made quite a long travel. So imagine traveling from Nigeria to London, that's intercontinent. Then you have the Earth, you have other planets, you have the galaxy, you have other galaxies. Yeah. At a point, the scientist says this is not, they don't believe that this is everything yet. There's still more to be discovered. So they call it our observable universe. And this is what we can observe right now. This is the much we can see right now. I mean, there's still much that we will yet see. There's still much that we will yet find. There's still more that we will yet discover. And it's not new. So our mission with what we're doing is around three pillars. One, to move people from that limiting mindset, move them from that limiting mindset, that mindset that keeps them at a level, and then move them to start thinking at another level, to start thinking possibility, to start thinking, to start changing paradigms. So you leave limitations and you become limitless, right? And it does not just end there with thinking. Your thoughts needs to produce results. So leaving a limited mindset, escaping that place into thinking possibility needs to be corroborated with what? With you creating solutions both for yourself, your life, and your society. That's my definition of education. I'm not the one that originated that definition, though. It was the definition I picked when I was doing my education um, course. It was one that resonated with me the most. It says education is equipping an individual or a group to be able to what? Solve their own problem, meet their needs, and then that of the larger society. So if the proof that your mind is moving, the proof that your mind is evolving, the proof that you think possibility is the possibility you create. It's the possibility you create. So that's why we're doing all of this. And in life, there is the necessity for movement. There's a necessity for evolution. I studied biology education as first degree, and in biology, there is evolution is a very big topic. You know, we have different ideologies around it. We have different submissions around it. In fact, even different religion also have their submissions around it, you know. But then the fundamental of that is that life that we as we have it today is not as it was years ago. Things have changed and things will constantly change. In fact, if you want to narrow it down to an organism, to an individual, whether a person or a system, you know, in biology, we did what is called characteristics of living things. How many of us remember that? Characteristics of living things. Tell me in the comment. I want to see those that skip school and those that did not skip. Where we did the as have well in my time it was 8 characteristics. There were 8. I think after I became 10, now it's like 12 or something. I'm not sure. We have the Mr. Ninja D. I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you remember Mr. Ninja D. I'm looking at the comments. I want to see your responses. Yeah. After a while became Mr. Ninja Dark. I don't care. So the first thing there is movement. You know, character of living things is um, the features that the expressions, the thing that we want to see working in a thing, and then we say this is a living thing. You know, so there are sets of things that needs to be present in a thing. For example, this pen, there are set of things that need to be present with this pen for us to say that this pen is a living thing. If those things are not present, if some are available and some are not available, we cannot classify it as a living thing. And one of them is movement, changing position, changing position, changing position. That is it. That's what it is. You know, plants and animals, we all move. If I say you're an animal, some persons will start arguing, say, "I'm not." But we all move. For animals, it's very easy to move because we have limbs and appendages. Even plants too, they move. They need to go get water. They need to get nutrients, you know, from the soil. Sometimes they move their roots. That's the direction at which they are growing. You know, when they're responding to stimulus or stimuli, depending on what we're talking about. And why is it so? It is because movement is important. Movement is what is important. And I want to use the plants now as a point of focus to tell us about movement and progress. You know, so when we're talking about movement, we're not just talking about movement for movement's sake, but in the direction of progress. If where you are seated, you are asked to come and get food, you are called, who's on this call now? Let's say Chukwu Ibuka, there's food in the kitchen and you're seated in the parlor. What do? You get up to go and get your food. That means you are moving towards a particular direction. If, on the other hand, when where you are seated in the same parlor and there's fire, it's a fire emergency in the parlor where you are seated and you need to exit the building. What do? You start heading for the door, right? You are moving out of a particular, you are moving away from a particular point. Do you get it? But then if all you need is available where you are, what happens? You are situated there. So when we're talking about movement, I'm beginning to stretch it a bit more, and I want you to follow this very closely. Is that every time you talk about movement as an individual, as a person, you must not talk about movement outside progress. You must not talk about movement outside progress. And progress is any response that leads to a positive outcome for you. Any response that leads to a positive outcome for you is progress, and it reduces negative outcome. So the person moving towards, when Daniel was moving to the kitchen, what happened? That is progress, going towards a positive outcome. When he was moving away from the parlor that was on fire, what was that? That's progress. You get it. If everything he needs is available to him, you know, and he's situated in a place, that is progress. And then he start using those things available to advance the course of his life. Are you getting it? Start using it to advance the course of his life. So anything that moves you towards your desired state. So you're not just moving for the sake of it. Sometimes your desired state is just in front of you. Sometimes your desired state is 12 months. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, network was about to, prayer bond. Prayer bond, I need you. We should be praying. Yeah, I'm back online. So the question I was asking is, what is then your desired state? It's not a question that you be in a hurry to answer. Okay, let's climb. This is not a question that you be in a hurry to answer, because sometimes we do not even know our desired state. So what if that's your desired state? What influences it? What's making you say that's my desired state? How do you know that you are supposed to be there? What's your knowing? What gave you that knowing? What gave you that conviction? Because you have to have an idea of where you want to go before you move. I did not say you have to have all of what you need. I said you have to have an idea. And you need to have a level of certainty for that desired state. To say, this is where I want to be. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. In our previous teaching, beginning from 2023, when we had metamorphosis, I've been sharing with us that your change, your development, and your progress is is tied to a number of things, and I summarize it into three E's. One is your environment. The environment has a lot to play with in the person that you become, in the way you think, in the choices that, in fact, your overall composition and disposition. In biology, I will go back to it. There's nature and there's nurture. Nature is how you were formed, how you came in, your DNA and all of those things. Nurture is what your environment do to you. And we are literally products of our environment. The second E is your education. So your environment determines your education, the things that you are going to learn. Remember, I said education is how that you are equipped to solve your problem and the problem of the society. Your environment will teach you, will educate you on that. So people in different environments have different education dependent on their environment. Your environment also determines your exposure. If you've been in a place where when I was serving in Ondo State as at the time my NYC, there was no light. The place had not seen light for years, for donkey years. Some children that they were born, they didn't know what was, Nepal light, as it were. Why? Because of the environment. Why there are people in other environment that don't know what it means to not be, they don't know what darkness is. So your environment determines your exposure. It determines your education, it determines your exposure. And those things will begin to shape your expectations in life. They begin to paint your realities in life. Sometimes you say, let's face reality. Do you know that word is a big word? Say, let's face reality. Whose reality are you facing? So when you say let's face reality, you are saying let's return to our education, exposure, and environment so far. That means all what we have known, all what we have seen, let's return back to that place and decide our life from there. Decide our next level from there. And your expectation will also be tied to all of what you've experienced. So how far can it be? How far can you go? When if for example, if the price of a particular thing goes up, somebody's saying, wow, let's face reality. How can somebody buy it? They are making that statement from their place, from where they are at. In someone else's reality, it's not the same. We all have different realities. Every one of us on this call, we're in the same world, we can be in the same city, we can be in the same house, but we have different realities. Even if we are twins, we're born at the same time, given the same food, under the same roof, we have different realities. And I put it to you that your reality is not the ultimate reality. Follow me. Your reality is not the ultimate. In philosophy, there's a concept known as the ultimate reality, and it refers to God. You must have studied that ultimate reality, and it refers to God. That means God is the ultimate reality. All reality is captured in the person of God. So there's no reality that you want to have that will be the most of the most reality. No, you cannot. Not in this world that we are in. So I want you to picture this. Do a mind mapping with me. Okay. So the reality that you have now, if it is not all of what can be, remember God is ultimate reality, right? So your pursuit should be at the ultimate level. Okay, maybe you are here, this is your reality. Someone else is here, this is their reality. What do? You start making conscious efforts to change your reality, to keep, you know, evolving, to keep moving. There's no limit to where you can get to because God, who is the ultimate reality, does not have a limit. Are you getting this? So it begins from what I just explained: your environment, your education, your exposure, your experiences, and all of this will start shaping your expectation. Let me play a clip for us. I want us to see a particular video. Please share the YouTube link on your statuses. Invite everybody to come be a part of this. We're just getting started. You don't want to get this alone. There are some things you will share with people and it changes their life. They will not come and be asking you some questions. So I want to play this. I want you to watch it. It's takes some. It's an advert, but I shared this to a particular community some time back. Here it is.
Why does life sometimes feel so wrong? Running in circles and you don't belong. I always knew that this day would come. It's time to break free, meet me on the run. But what am I really running from? And I look up to the open sky, hopes in my heart, dreams in my eyes. Will I ever make it right this time? And all I can do, and all I can do is try. Why does life sometimes feel so wrong? Like running in circles and you don't belong. I always knew that this day would come. It's time to break free. But what am I really running from? And I look up to the open sky, hopes in my heart, dreams in my eyes. Will I ever make it right this time? And all I can do, and all I can do is try. It's time to break free, meet me on the run. And all I can do, and all I can do, and all I can do is all I can do is.
Tell me you saw that. Tell me you saw that. Now I'm waiting for you to actually tell me that you saw that. That particular video is something else. It actually does not play out like that if you are eating, it depicts, it communicates. This is a boy who was in, you saw the environment, you saw where he was, everybody there was. So this is not to, this is not against, this is not body shaming, it's just to show us what can happen when the mind is tilted to a direction. It can change from where you are to where you need to be. So nobody had that idea that you can fly. And nobody also had the idea that you need to lose weight. Follow me. And the boy with his former weight saw the bird, that the bird can fly. So the bird became a new entity in its environment. It was exposed to the bird. It saw possibility that I think I can do this thing that this bird did. And he started trying with his weight. Most of that's how it is for us. We're trying with our weight. The experiences that we've had, the education that we had previously, all of that, we're trying. And the boy got frustrated. He was. I need to give him kudos because it was very, was resolute. I got frustrated, but then luckily he saw the bird, and there was another lesson there again. He saw what the bird was eating. What the bird was eating was not the same as what every other person has been eating. And the young man needed to change diet. The young man needed to change diet. I'll say it again. The young man needed to change diet so that he can live where he was to where he needs to be, where he wants to be. So you have to change diet. What goes inside of you needs to change. You cannot be consuming like every other person and expect to end up unlike them. We had this argument in 100 level, still in biology class. Our lecturer came and said, God bless his soul. He said, "You are what you eat." That was a big topic of discussion for us. He said, if you are eating vegetable, as I'm seeing you like this, you are vegetable. You are vegetable standing in front of me. I always argued with that man. After a while, I had to say that this man is correct. If you are always eating fish pie, you are always eating shawarma, you are always eating yam, you are yam. Why? Because what is in that thing is transferred into you and it becomes what makes you up. It becomes what you are made up of. So the young man needed to change diet. And you saw how everybody was looking at him when he's sleeping diet. He became like an outcast, he became like an outlier. He became an outsider. So when you are heading somewhere, that movie, that clip is a whole lot of story. A lot of things will change. If the young man was paying attention to what people were thinking about him, do you think he will continue? If he says, "Oh, this thing I'm eating is too sweet, I cannot change it," do you think it will make that leap? So you have to stretch your imagination. You have to stretch yourself. You have to keep dreaming, and that's the first thing I want to talk about. Actually, that's the first thing I want to talk about. Many times we are afraid to stretch ourselves. I shared this with a group of people, and I'll share it again. There's that fear somewhere in our minds. So while we know where we want to be, there's that fear of stretching. All right, we're going to take a pause. Some people are asking from WhatsApp, another place how they will get the link. Maybe they never share that. Let's do them with free, but let's take the YouTube link. You're on YouTube and share it everywhere. We'll do that for 1 minute or two, and we'll talk about dream. You have to come back. You shouldn't waste time. Take the link and share it. Take the link and share it. You might want to add a screenshot to it. Tell everybody that we are live. We are an hour deep into this conversation. In the next 1 hour, we'll be done. Share the link everywhere. Share it everywhere. I'm waiting. I'm actually waiting. Are you sharing? Have you shared? We cannot eat this alone. We cannot eat this alone. This is the kind that as you are changing diet, you call everybody. We are changing diet together. All right. I believe we've done that. Share this. Okay. In a few seconds, we'll come back to this discussion. I'm looking at my time actually. All right, let's run. If you are back, if you are here, let me see in the comments. Let me know that you are here. All right, we are back. We are back. Thank you for everyone sharing this. Thank you. Our village people need to see this. Everybody needs to be part of this conversation. All right, let's roll. I believe we've all done that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. So I was talking about dream. Yeah, I'm talking about dreaming, and every one of us, we need to dream. Yeah, I was sharing with us concerning reality, and that's fear of actually moving beyond where we are. But there's something with what you already know. It's not bad. That's how we're wired. It's for our own security and our own safety to be comfortable with what. Yeah. Yes. This you have to. It's important. There's something about being comfortable at a place. It's just natural because we don't want stress. It's how we have been wired over time to thrive in life. Life is survival of the fittest. So when you see a place where you can be comfortable at, you just want to remain there. And there's always that fear of stepping out. It's like this. I shared this. This is a rubber band, right? And because we are here, we are comfortable. I believe we can all say this. We are comfortable here. If I don't know if you did this where you tell somebody if you say yes, you're a dubious child. when we're younger, some people might still be doing it. You tell a friend or your sibling to hold one part of the rubber band, while you hold the other part. And what you start doing? You start dragging it. You say, hold it to. Give me a weakness now. You say, hold it. And you start dragging it. This is a rubber band, right? It means it has elastic elasticity potential. So you say, keep dragging it. Some people are laughing in the comment, they know themselves. And you're dragging. It gets to a point, as you are dragging, what happened? Look at my face. So you start closing your eye like this. What are you trying to do? Because anytime, right? It's either this thing cuts or one person leaves it and it hits the other person. That fear comes in. You stretch it to a point and you pause. Right? Yes, look at them. You stretch it to a point and you pause. What if you can stretch it beyond this? Even me that's stretching it now, I'm having that fear. What if I stretch it beyond and it cuts? But I've not stretched it. Stretch it to the limit. Because for a rubber band, there's limit, but for you, there's no limit. For you, there's no limit. Something about dreaming, that's you cannot lose your ability to dream. You cannot lose your. My pastor made this argument that the proof that you have, this is not a, but the proof that you have the Holy Spirit is that you have vision. Referencing the book of Joel, that this sign shall follow them in the last days, and then when the Spirit shall come, you begin to dream dreams and have vision. You cannot lose your ability to have vision for your life, to dream. And I think that is one area that Satan attacks the most, because if Satan attacks and captures, stops you from dreaming, that is all. The person who cannot dream, let me say, it's as good as dead. You cannot have a vision of your life ahead of you, because it both gives you hope and gives you fuel. And beyond the ability to dream, you also need the willingness to action your dream. So there's the ability to dream that you must have, and there's the willingness to action that dream that you must have. The reason why it's a dream and in front of you because you are not there yet. So you need to keep moving towards it. You need to keep moving towards it. So I did not say have the ability to action your dream. No, the ability to dream and the willingness to action your dream. Because if you are willing, you get it. If you are willing, and as you're moving, you begin to action your dream step by step. I don't think we have the entireties of the tools that we need to move us from now to the end of our dream. No, but we have what it takes to move us from now to the next level. I mean, you play game, right? And when you are playing game, what happens? There's level 1, there's level 2, there's level 3, there's level 4, depending on the different game. And at each level, different arsenals, different tools that you can use to win are unlocked. Different superpowers are unlocked. Maybe you're playing Candy Crush or you're doing what's that race now? Subway, As you are moving, when you were at the start, you did not have all of those, right? But at that start, you have all you need to get to the next level. So you see that long list that you have written that you need to get to the end of your life. That's not what you need. You say, I need to have this. It takes me from this start to this, and that's not what you need. What you need is what will take you to the next level, not to the end of the game. And you have it. When you finish playing level 1, you get into level 2, other things unlocked for you, and you move into level 3, other things unlocked for you. That is how life is. That's how life is. You have to be playing, you have to have that willingness, you have to be moving. So your dream is important. The ability to dream and the willingness to action your dreams. And you have to have faith. Minute I wrote, have faith and take courage. I was talking about the fear that comes with this. You have to have faith. Faith is not saying I've done it before, I can do it again. No. Faith is saying I will get on it and I know I will get to the end. I will start working on it with the consciousness, with the assurance that I will get to the end. Yeah. You have to have faith. And you have to take courage. You have to take courage. I hope you are with me on this conversation. Have faith, take courage. Have faith, take courage. Life is all about faith. For a Christian, you agree with me what scripture said that the just shall live by faith. That's what you need to live, faith. And the proof that you have faith is that you are taking steps. And you need courage to take steps, right? So have faith and take courage. Follow this conversation. Do away with fear. What if it does not work out? What if it does work out? Many times we wait for proof of concept. Not proof of concept is that thing that tells you that this can work. You see something that has been done and you say, this can work. See, you don't in life, for my life, don't wait for proof of concept. Create your proof of concept. An idea comes, a thing comes, and you're waiting for maybe somebody to do it to show you that it can work, or you're waiting to see. Why? Have faith and take courage. Create your proof of concept. When we said it outside the box, how many people were in that room? That was proof of concept. The idea came and we actioned it. Proof of concept. It was not if you want to relate it to the event that we've had, it was not the best. Right? But it was proof of concept. So don't wait for proof of concept. Create your proof of concept. Do it. That's your proof of concept. I will say it again. I'll go back to my previous point. Have faith and what? Take courage. Some of you, after this conversation, you need to go back to your old notes, right? This is actually, let me not sound like that, but you need to go back to your old notes. Some of you need to go back to your notes of years before, right? And go and look at what you've written down. Now look at what you've written down and begin to create your proof of concept. You don't have time. You don't have time. That's my next point. You don't have time. What are you waiting for? You know, I always say this, especially to young people that we interact with always, that you will not know when you will go from I'm too young to do this to I'm too old to do this. There's no defining line in between. There's not. You will not know when you will go from I'm too young to do this to I'm too old to do this if age and timing is your excuse. Get on it now. You are not the first to have that excuse. There were young people that said that can even in scripture. Remember Jeremiah. Don't say you are too young. You want to wait until you get to XYZZ. Who gave that framework? Who gave that template in the first place? Who did? Who did? Most of those things that we are saying, remember how we started, they are products of your environment, your experiences, your education and exposure so far. So don't let all of that keep you here. You want to move to your next. You want to move to your next. You cannot define the journey of your next from your before. Your next starts from now. I'm surprised I'm this calm. I'm actually surprised I'm this calm. Your next starts from now. No, you don't have time. Let's say there's still time, there's still time, there's still time. Time to do what? I know many times we want to wait to fully understand before we apply. We want to wait to somebody I respect much says if you are ready, you are late. And it's true. How do you know that it will work? How do you know that it will work? Let me tell you how. You don't. You don't know if it will work or not. Yes. That's why it's life. Life is a risk. Take a risk. You don't know if it will work. People throw money into investment for it. They don't know the word throw, right? But what gives there's no 100% guarantee. What's the 100% guarantee that you wake up tomorrow morning? You don't, but you have that faith that you wake up tomorrow morning. So if you won't cook your best food tonight to eat it tomorrow morning, what if you don't wake up tomorrow morning to eat it? And your next of kin eats that your fantastic. Don't. Is there 100% guarantee? No. Yeah, that's what I brought for you today. No. Is it possible? Is there a possibility? Yes. Is there the probability that it will work? Check. Find out. Find out. You know, see, well equipped is not the same thing as all equipped. You know, many times we disguise in waiting to be all equipped and we say we want to be well equipped. No, you just want to be all equipped, and you cannot be all equipped. You cannot be all equipped. You are well equipped does not mean that you will be all equipped. Remember how we use the games as an illustration. Level 1, you were well equipped. You don't have everything that you had in level 2, but at level 1, you were well equipped. You were equipped enough to move to your next level. You are. You are. I hope you are part of this conversation. We'll round up soon. Don't look at your clock. Don't look at it. Just focus on this conversation. There'll be room for questions and answers, right? I said change diet, and you have to. This is important. You have to have your own motivation. I went to speak to a group of young people that was some years back, and we were talking about self drive. Yeah, you have to have your own motivation. I don't know how you want to create it. I will share a bit on that, but I don't know how you want to create it, but you have to have your own motivation. That's why I asked you when we started. I said, where is your desired state? Why is that your desired state? Why? How do you know that is your desired state? So for me, at different points, at different time in my life, I have what motivates me, and it's even supposed to go beyond that. I remember this may be a superficial example, but I remember how that in my GSS3 then in Bright Success, where is this in Udu, and I had to write my dissertation. I thought everything was in place, nobody came to talk about any money I've not paid. So I assumed I paid everything all round, and I prepared, I studied. On that day of the morning of the day one, that dissertation is ready for about a week. Showed up, and I used to have this short nika. Every session, my mother would sew a nika for me. That's a new shot because me we tear it in class. My shot was short. I was like, I'm not going to sew now. The time was just 3. We just moved to SS1. We went trousers. We showed up that morning with my white and pop, and our principal came. And she was calling me to put into group. What was this trending? Is it Cynthia Ofuri or what? What was this trending? That the people was telling the child to go do the assembly, something like that. And she called me and asked me to, like, why? I was already happy. I was with my friends. And I was prepared for it. I needed no distractions that morning. And she asked me to go home. I can't take it anymore. I started crying. Like, the teacher is in my hands. But I went home. I said, this is what happened. I met my mom at home. My dad had gone to work. And she wasn't having money at that time. So I don't know what she did. Right. But she went out. My assumption is that she went to sell something. I don't know. That was my assumption, that she went to sell something. She came back and gave me money. Before I left the house, I knew that she was not having money, that box sum that was needed. And we were not even expecting that would be an issue that morning. She saw the way I was, I cannot do this. She went and brought money. I was so grateful and so motivated. I was going back to school. I can see have the picture of me returning back to school. I was like, this exam is me and you. I was still crying. So my cry has shifted from I was not going to write this exam to I cannot write this exam. All the way, I think we wrote at that on this, that area. We wrote at Great People School. So from Bright Success, Orange Junction, I was crying. We were working in group. I was never looking at anybody's face. Like, I was just going to in my mind, this exam is me and you. Oh. And the result were proof that this guy. So that is how it's supposed to be. And I can give you different examples from my personal life. That was, like I said, this is for free. This is an illustration just at the surface. But you can drag it deep down. What motivates you? Lock it in. Because why am I saying this? There are times that you will be discouraged. There are times that you would want to just quit. If you know why you're doing it, if you know what is prompting and pushing you to do it, propelling you to do it, you will stay at it. I think it was Tony Robbins that was talking about something similar. He was saying it is not about intelligence, it's not about being, it's about being smart and being ready for this, that you give in, you lock yourself into it, that I'm doing this thing. Remember OTB? Remember last year that we were planning OTB and the OTB was not OTB. Inside the bus was still inside the bus. Nothing was, and we wanted to do it. We had, should we postpone it? Should we this? Should we that? Put your head inside and you will come out. You will come out. To be tough, rough, yes. So this one is not um and tie kind of life. To get rough, this business will get rough, this school. You have to have all of the money first. Why? Just lock yourself in and I hope we're together in this. I hope you have not forsaken me. Lock yourself in. And you see, man, I want to advise us that your motivation should not be from a negative side. It should be to a positive side because in that in that sense you enjoy it more. You have more peace. You have more health, or you have better health overall. You know, I was sitting with one billionaire mentor that was somewhere in 2023 and was saying something similar. I did not understand. It made sense, but I did not understand. You know, they said they were telling us to. I think what I was saying that don't stop fighting poverty. Stop saying that you want to. You are your life probably because you've been poor your life. You came from a poor background of that. All your motivation is we're going to deal with poverty. We're going to. It said with that kind of mindset. No, you can make it, oh, but that's not the way to go because all of your focus is still on poverty. All your focus is still on poverty. So why not focus on wealth? And your conversation goes from we are fighting poverty, we want to do this to we are making wealth, we are creating wealth. Your attention, your focus have shifted. You're no longer in a battle. You get it? You're no longer in a battle. It looks like an attempt to escape. That's how it looks. And you are going to struggle really hard. You're going to expend more energy. Unlike when you are now redirected. Do you get it? Like when you are not redirected. Yes. Focus on wealth. Be it money, be it on your emotions, your mind, in every part of your life that you want to focus on wealth. Are you with me? Are you with me on this? All right. I'm going to share a story with us, and we're going to close with that story. Okay. And let me see if there's anything I'm missing out. Yeah, there's something, but maybe I'll share it another time. I want to share this story with us. Very, very key, very key. And it's some scripture. So I will need you to follow me on this. All right. You need to follow me on this. This is from Second Kings chapter 7. Is the story of the poor leper. It's a very common story. I want to share my screen and share that with us. You're going to get something from this. Let me know in the comments if you can see my screen. Let me know if you can see it. I'm looking at the comments. Yeah. Can you see it? Yes. So this is a long read. I'm going to make it brief. Now, see this. This is the story of We are back. Okay, so I was sharing a portion of scripture, and that's second here. Here it is. Here it is. And I want you to follow the story carefully. So it says, Elijah replied, this is NIV. Let me just be sure that's NIV I'm reading from. Yeah, NIV. So Elijah replied, hear the word of the Lord. This is what the Lord says. About this time tomorrow, a share of the finest flour we sell for a shekel, and 2 shares of barley for a shekel at the gate of Samaria. This was a very bold declaration. Follow me? Follow me. This was a very, very bold declaration. The people of Israel at this time, they were suffering. You know, going through famine. It was a tough time for them. It was a tough time for them. And the man of God had come to stay as at this same time tomorrow. Remember, I said some of you need to go back from this meeting to your old notes. I mean, when I say old notes, I mean old notes. Some of you already know what I'm talking about. And it says at this same time, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. Let's continue. And one guy, says, the guy is a very prominent man. The officer on whose the king was leaning said to the man of God, said, look, even if God should open the floodgate of heaven, can this happen? This is not a possible statement. Looking at the economy, so look at who the guy is. The king's guy. You understand what's happening in government. You understand what's happening in the society. He says, giving to this current reality. You know what Elijah was saying there? A shekel, I went to check, is less, 2 shekels, sorry, it's less than $1. Just say somewhere around 500 naira. They are saying this thing that we cannot even see at all. It's going to be sold for this amount. It's not realistic. Remember how we talk about reality? It's not realistic. Let's be realistic kind of. And you lock yourself at a particular point and you're not moving from there. And this is what they say, you will see it with your eyes, but you will not eat of it. You're gonna see it, but you're not gonna chop it. You're gonna see it, but you're not gonna chop it. And then look at what happened. Now there were 4 men with leprosy at the entrance of the city gate. Look at where these 4 men were. They were where? At the entrance of the city gate. Let's go up again. Let's go back to that verse 1. Follow me on this, guys. We'll close here. Look at what Elisha said. He said, as at this time tomorrow, a share of fine flour we sell for a shekel, and 2 shares of barley for a shekel at where? At the gate of Samaria. So the prophet has sent the word of God. Psalm says God sent this word. So the word was sent, and the simple was that at so and so place. But then these 4 men, they were already at the place where the word is going to happen. Look at where they were. They were at the entrance of the city gates, where the birth is going to happen, where the revolution is in the nation of Israel, the entire city is going to happen. They were there. But it was not looking like something good can come out. They were leprous men. They were not as advantageous as other people, right? They had their own deficiencies. So why sit here until we die? If we say let's go back into the city, there's famine there. We will die because there's no food. If we say let's stay here, we will also die. Look at what they decided to do. They said, let's go over to the camp of the Arameans and do what? And surrender. If they spare us, we live. If they kill us, we die. So their position was that we are good as dead already. So let's move. If we move and we die, they're already dead. If they spare us, our life continue and it changes. So these people, I acknowledge them because their decision was a decision that is laced with hunger and resolve. But slavery. If they're going to sell themselves as slaves, let's just go and offer ourselves as slaves. You remember some person that did that, the Israelites in Egypt. Let's just go there and be slaves. Come back, come back. Okay, it may take me a moment to fix my video, but I wanted to see me. I wanted to. All right, just give me feedback in the comments, and if I'm audible, I will reel through this, and then we'll go into the next. I need feedback in the comments if you would. Okay. All right. So look at what we're saying concerning these guys. That they were where the word was being sent to, but they did not have what they did not have the immediate experience. That was not their reality at the time. So they needed to leave and go somewhere else. It was great resolve, great hunger. I'm not talking about the hunger in their stomach now, the hunger in their heart. Coupled with that, the one in their stomach. but but it was tied to the mindset of the slave. Let's go and give ourselves to them. If they spare us, fine. If they don't spare us, fine. Let's proceed. dusk, they got up and went to the camp of these guys. And when they got there, nobody was there. It was empty. Why? Because God has caused them to what? Hear the sound of chariots and horses and a great army. So they said one to one another, look, the king of Israel has hired, it was so the camp of the Arameans now, they've hired the Hittites and the Egyptian kings to attack us. They were scared. They thought that they were being ambushed, and war is coming. So they got up and fled in the evening and abandoned their tent, not just their tent, they abandoned their horses, not just their horses and their donkeys. They left everything that they had in the camp and they ran for their life. Now, the men who had leprosy, they got there, and what happened? They entered one tent. They entered one tent and they were like, something is here. They ate and they drank. They first of all satisfied themselves. Let's be alive to help people. Pick your lessons. Pick your lessons. Let's be alive to help people. You have to save yourself first. You have to save yourself first. And look at what happened again. This was both commendable, and I think that it was also from a scarcity mindset. Remember, these guys, they've left abundance. They've left so much abundance, right? After eating, what happened? They took silver, gold, and clothes. They went to hide them. They came again, took some, and they went to hide them again. Hope you are seeing what was happening here. They went to hide them. That was not all. After this, they were satisfied. They said, what we are doing is not good, though. What the story? What else? This is a good day of good news, and we are keeping it to ourselves. If we wait until daylight, punishment might come. Let's go at once and report this to our people back in Israel. Let's go to the king and tell them this is what has happened. So they went there. I'm trying to be faster now. They called out to the city gatekeepers and said, look at what we saw at that camp. Nobody was there. No, not the sound of anyone at all, not even a baby. Only horses and donkeys, just animals and enjoyment and abundance. And the gatekeeper sent the news to the palace. And then what happened? The king got up that same night, sent his officers and told them what to take the remaining donkey and horses that they have and go down to that camp, and but first he was scared. Look at this. He says, this thing that you are saying, I don't believe you. Pay attention to this. So there's a call for abundance, but then it looks like it's not true. Why? The king was speaking from his current reality, from his experience, from his exposure, from his education. He says, no, if the camp is empty and there's abundance there, these people know that we are in lack. They are trying to ambush us. They are waiting for us to come, and when we get there, they will just pounce on us. Many times that's how opportunity appear in our faces, and we say, no. What if, what if, and you sit back, say, no, I'm not going to, and you stay in your famine. That was the disposition of the king. He said, I know what I will tell you. So the king was sounding very intelligent here, speaking from experience. I will tell you their plan. This is this, that. But he has seen shaggy. So all these officers told him. So even that's true, let's sacrifice one person, or a few people. Let's ask them to take the horse and go. If it's true that they want to ambush us, let those people just pay the sacrifice. They should be scapegoats. But if it's not true, our life has changed. It's not true, our life has changed. You get it? Even if they go there and they die, it's the same thing now. If they are here, they will still die. Then they did that. Let me run. They did that. They sent men there. Go and look at what happened. They went there and found out everywhere on the road. They were clothes. They were, as they were running, They left their things on the road. They send their messenger back to the king that our king, this thing is true, it's legit. Oh. We need to face this opportunity. Remember, the opportunity is now becoming mainstream. The opportunity is now becoming news for the entire Israel. But who got the opportunity first? The four lepers. And they did not just see the opportunity, they first of all gained their survival with the opportunity, they secured their future with the opportunity. They went to keep some things for themselves just in case the king and his men, maybe something entered their head and they refuse to reward us. Let's go and keep some things for ourselves first. You know. And then the people went out, they packed everything. And what happened in verse 16? A share of which, like the words was, for some of us, this was just tomorrow. For some of us, it will not be tomorrow. It should be next week, maybe it'll be next month, maybe next year. But that sent word, it has been sent. You see, it happened like it was said that a share of the finest, the finest, like they have different kind of rice, You see, like for example, a bag of rice, we have different, there's one rice we call wiri. I don't know if they used to call it like that. That rice is as dirty can be. And you had a different type of that rice, He said the finest was sold for less than $1, just like it was said. Then the king put that same man who said it was impossible. And of course, you know what happened? People trampled on him, and it was just so. So, like the king, many times we have that what if in our head. But my answer to your what if is go and see. That's what the guy told the king. Go and see. Let me take you back there. The king was in verse 12. The king was doing what if was. The guy said, let's go and see. Let's go and check it out. Remember Abraham and God about seeing and possessing. Remember? Because as far as your eyes can see, if Abraham had not moved, if Abraham had no experience, he had no foresight, and he would not be able to capture what was available. Maybe we'll be speaking based on assumption. Go and see. Stop assuming. Go and see. Stop assuming. Go and see. Have you gotten something from this conversation? My time is up. Before Blessing will come and arrest me now. I've shared a few things. We cannot discuss everything on this one conversation. We cannot share everything on this one call. But I want to believe that with what we've shared so far, you've gotten something from it. So if you are with me, if you would say yes, Jeff, let me get your responses. Let me get your feedback in the comments, and Blessing will come on board. Okay, so with everything I've said, I'm going to take a pause, and if there are questions, we'll take them. But let me hear from you in the comments. I want to see your feedback, your responses. Yeah. Thank you. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. I don't want to keep us here for long so that we can go home to whatever thing we're doing. Maybe another time we'll meet again and continue the discussion. So let us welcome back Nikki on this call. If you have questions, you just let us know in the comment box. I think she would lead us on that. Yeah, she'll lead us on that. So, Blessing, over to you.
Thank you so much, Sir Jeffrey, for that insightful session. Like I said earlier, your session would be nothing short of insightful, impactful, and value packed. Thank you for exposing us to so much. And whilst we are prepping our questions in the comment section, I just want to highlight a few takeaways for those persons who joined us later into Mr. Jeffrey's session. And one key thing he mentioned that that is a takeaway for me personally, it is beyond the ability to dream, we must have the willingness to action our dreams. I've come to observe so many a times, even after we've gone through the process of curbing limitless thinking, we have people that are restrained in doing. So what am I saying in essence? Like he said, dreaming, it is fine. There's nothing wrong in dreaming. It is needed, but you need to have a willingness to action your dreams. And another beautiful thing he said that I jotted down, he said, create your proof of consent or concept. Sometimes in a bit of wanting to get external validation, procrastination, we tend to restrict ourselves, limit ourselves from going into the next level. Are we here? Please don't forget to put down your questions in the comments. Another striking thing he said, oh, I love this so much. I love this so much. There is no time transition for us as young people that really want to come into the intended greatness we see ourselves coming into. There really is no time transition between I am too young to do it to I am too old for it. I don't know if we got that. Thank you so much, Mr. Jeffrey. Your session has been mind-blowing, explosive, and it has been transforming. Also, he talked about the need for self-motivation. And I thank Mr. Jeffrey, and I thank God that the lot of us here are believers. He said something very striking. He said, one proof that you have the Holy Spirit in you is that you are not void of visions. And one thing that can help us have self-motivation is when we have vision. Are we together now? Are we here? No question. We need to ask questions because Mr. Jeffrey's session was so thought-provoking. Let's ask our questions. He said so many things. Thank you so much, sir, for that session. It was mind-blowing. And also something before I forget. He said something. For those of us who joined in late into the session, he talked about the ultimate reality. In as much as our realities are different, our individual pursuits should not be in getting to the reality of our neighbor. I don't know if I'm articulating correctly, but our pursuit should be the ultimate reality. And he said that the ultimate reality is God. And in God, there is vastness. In God, there is limitlessness. Are we together now? Are we here? Thank you so much, Mr. Jeffrey, for that wonderful session. I believe, and I know, and I am certain that we are leaving this webinar better than we were when we clicked on the link to join it. I said from the beginning, Mr. Jeffrey, he is an embodiment of knowledge, of wisdom, of value, and deep insight. Thank you, sir, for sharing your experiences. Thank you for this thought-provoking session. And thank you, because I know we are better. I am better. Thank you. I want to point out this as well. I love this so much. I think he made a reference on us being what we eat, right? What we eat. He said something striking when he was talking about the 4 E's of metamorphosis. He talked about your environment. He talked about, I think, exposure. He talked about education and your experiences. He said something very striking. You cannot be consuming. Listen to this now. You cannot be consuming like every other person and expect to be unlike them. For those of us who joined in late to the session, I'm re-echoing this for us to hear. You cannot be consuming like every other person and expect to be unlike them. He gave us a reference, I think the video of the boy who was in an environment where the lot of the population, they were obese, eating unhealthy, and the boy had the vision, he had the dream of wanting to fly. Like he said dreaming is not enough. Beyond dreaming, you need to have that willingness to action your dreams. Thank you once again, Mr. Jeffrey. I think there's a question here. Mr. Jeffrey, I would appreciate if you can join in There's a question here for Mr. Oke Solomon. There's a question from Mr. Oke Solomon. He's asking, how can one live?
Thank you so much. Hi.
How can one live practicably?
Yeah, go on.
That is things that he knows. I don't know if you got that question. How can one live practicably? That is applying the things that he knows. I don't know if it's clear, sir.
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Blessing, you are fire. You are fire. All right. I want us in the comment section. You agree. You're looking at part of this conversation. You agree. Thank you so much. And thank you for your question. For those of us that have questions, just drop them. We'll try to answer as many as we can within the short time. So don't expect that we'll be doing any question. No, so just be dropping them and we'll take them. How can one live practically? And that what we've been discussing since. We made attempt to go beyond just motivating us on this call to remind us. Sometimes there's new knowledge, other times there's renewed knowledge. And actioning and the end result of many things does not just come from new knowledge. New knowledge prompts your imagination and your willingness to evolve. But renewed knowledge reinforces that which you know and that which you do and that which you become. So talking about practicability, we've talked about you dreaming. Dreaming is a practical thing that you should do, right? And we said don't just dream, be willing enough to action your dream. What is being willing to actually when you're willing to do something, your willingness pushes you to ability. You want to do it, can you do it? If you cannot do it, what do you need to do it? And you start taking those steps. We think about taking steps. So for everybody on this call, our destination, our direction may not be the same. Our focus is not the same. But then I asked you a question where you said, what is your desired state? So you pin where you want to get to, right? And you start taking steps in that direction. So you ask yourself, what are the steps? You need to do your homework. I made a post. I said, nobody can dream big for you. Stop people to come and dream for you. Nobody can. Many people can. Don't wait for them to. Right? You need to dig. You need to get your hands into the working out of your life. Even God, I wanted something in Genesis chapter 1. What did he do? Started working to get it done. They're taking step in verse 3, he took a step, the next verse he took another step. At the end of it, we said, oh, God, I've created everything. It's good. And the things you know does not mean that you do not necessarily need to apply all that you know. Because number one, you cannot know everything. And number two, all that you know is not all that you need to apply. What you should apply is the knowledge that is relevant to your next desired outcome. That is it. That's what wisdom is, in fact. Wisdom is being able to apply the right knowledge in the right circumstance. So if you want to apply everything that you know, but in your circumstance right now, what knowledge you need to apply to move you to your next?
All right.
I believe you get that.
Okay, Solomon, I believe Mr. Jeffrey has been able to answer your question. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Jeffrey, for that wonderful one. The creative teacher himself, the ego. Thank you so much for that wonderful one. I also want to point out something he also said, Mr. Jeffrey said. Please send in your questions. We're almost at the end of this session, the Q&A session. I also want to point out something important Mr. Jeffrey said. He said sometimes we want to be well equipped for the end of the journey instead of being well equipped. We want to be all equipped for the end of the journey instead of being focused on getting well equipped for the next level. I think that is big. It's very, very, very heavy, right? So thank you, sir, once again. I think we'll be taking one last question and we're done with this session. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. In the absence of any other question, I want to appreciate everybody who made this possible, who made this a success, from the visionary to the OTB team, of course, to the participants as well, and of course, myself, the moderator of this event. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who made this possible and successful. Also, a big shout out to the technical team. Thank you for offering us such a seamless experience, even though network did what they do, MTN and all of that. Regardless, thank you so much to our technical team for giving us such a seamless experience from the start to this point. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. We have come to the end of this webinar. Let's celebrate our speakers. Let's celebrate the OTB team. Of course, celebrate me, and of course, celebrate yourself. Let me see us celebrating in the chat, in the comments. Let's see the emojis rolling. I want to see us responding. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. We have come to the end of Outside the Box 2025 conference.
Whoosh.
Remember to stay.
Before we go, please. Yeah, before we go, I want to go and tell everybody. I always say this at the end of every meeting. Go and tell everybody that you were part of such a rich experience. Go share it. If I take a screenshot, share it on social media, so that many of you invited people. You were sharing the event material. Go and tell them that this is the event and you were a part of it. You did not show up in their headache. We are going to give the replay, and I would advise you to come back to it and even ask your friends, if you have your circle, tell them to come watch this, to come listen to this, and it will bless their life, right? It's very important. Even myself, I need to do a. Let me take my own screenshot and go and see I was part of Outside the Box too. Okay. So thank you so much, Blessing. Back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Jeffrey. We've finally come to the end of this webinar. Remember to stay limitless. Remember that the proof of faith, it is in taking steps. I look forward to Outside the Box Conference 2026. I'm so excited for it. I look forward to that, and I hope to see you next year. And remember to stay blessed. Thank you very much. I remain Nikki Tamara. Please blessings.